Good morning. Just 1 second. Good morning, dear students. Dear Sergey, welcome to our course, Human Resource Management Master Course. Before start, as always, I have to remember you that we are saving this course. And again, for the last time, you will be the boss. So let me give permission for your presentation. Now, okay, floor is yours, dear Mr.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much for coming to my lecture today. And as far as I'm going to be the let it be the seminar, because I'm going also to ask you a few questions, and I guess that's it would be kind of you if you answer them the way that you did our previous seminar, our previous lesson. So today I'm going to explore. Let me open my presentation and check if you can see that. All right, today I'm going to present a very interesting topic that is called talent management. Can you see that? I'm sharing my screen.
Yes.
All right.
So you will not continue with the period one. You will change the topic, okay?
If you want, I can do that.
It doesn't matter for me. You will decide. It doesn't matter. Both of them occurs, no problem.
Okay, if we can spare 5 hours, then I can complete those ones, because here I have also more than 60 slides, and also my personal research work that is over 15 pages. So I guess that for the next 5 hours we will have enough material.
Right. Okay. So we will start on time and we will finish at the end of the third hour, because today I am full. I have one thesis jury, and one again documentation, and one more thing. I mean, next week, starting from next week, we will have final exam, and I have to prepare exams on the system, so I have to upload. So okay. Unfortunately, again full, but 3 hours is yours. I mean, per 1 hour, we have 30 minutes, so you can start.
All right. So for you, just I mean, to feel the most comfortable, I can keep an eye on the time, and I can keep things under control, so you don't have to worry about that. Now the time has started, so at 10 o'clock I'm going to finish my first portion of this lesson, of this discussion. All right. Okay. So today I'm going to speak about talent management. The topic is quite interesting and quite modern. There are lots of research which are being done recently. And I also tried to explore the topic from different angles and tried to contribute that. Okay, so we're going to move slowly one by one, and I will share my ideas with you, and hopefully that they're going to be beneficial also for academia and for our discussion, for our lessons. Okay, first of all, let me ask you a question. How do you understand this notion, talent management, and why talents need to be managed?
As you know, like in other industries, as tourism industry, they need to compete more. I mean, the rate of competition among rivals is increasing year by year. So in order to be in the race, in a way, they have to, as companies, they have to find out competitive areas. So first, at least from my idea, from my, let's say, point of view, as a company, they must first define their unique competitive areas. And when they define these areas, then they have to find out right talents for these areas. So that's why first they have to find out the main differences that will sustain competitive advantage to the company. And according to these differences, they will find the needed talent by searching from different sources like from LinkedIn, MySpace, and others. So this is my idea.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing your ideas with me. There's one of the things that I would like to present as a teaser. I mean, talent management, please think about that. Is that, let's say that, is that a good term? I mean, that talent management, do you think that a talent needs to be managed? Because many talents don't want to. to be managed. They want to be stimulated, motivated, encouraged. But is the word management the right word here? Okay.
Yeah, you will tell the details, or you are expecting my answer?
Well, actually, I will talk about that a little bit later. But if you want to share your ideas, please welcome.
Okay. Normally, as I told you before, the areas are important. If you define the areas, and then you will find the needed talents, then of course you have to give free options or several alternatives for those talents. Otherwise, they cannot, I mean, they may lose their creativity, their innovation aspects, and others. So, of course, sustaining independent working atmosphere is also important. So,
all right, good idea. Okay, thank you very much. Let's continue with that. One of my favorite citation and the answer to the questions is presented by Steve Jobs. This is one of my favorite citations, and it goes like this: it doesn't make sense to hire smart people and tell them what to do. It's a much better idea if we hire smart people and so they can tell us what to do. This is how talents have to be treated. So I guess that a few lectures ago I also told you about that citation. So that's the one that I meant. I think that this is a brilliant one, especially for talent management treatment. Okay, so when we have a closer look at the talent management, we need to understand what is in there. I mean, what are the elements? We do understand what management is, but how do we define the word talent? In this case, two American researchers, John Bodrow and Peter Ramstad, in one of their researches in 2007 year, they define talent as the resource that includes the potential and realized capacities of individuals and groups, and how they're organized, including those within the organization and those who might join the organization. Let me tell you one thing. I mean, to find, let's say, that unique or universal definition of a talent is quite a challenging job, because generally there are so many definitions of a talent. Some of them are focusing on particular aspects, some of them are trying to be, let's say, universal, trying to absorb different qualities. Anyway, this is quite a challenging thing to find the universal definition of a talent. What I did, as far as I read and absorbed the information, I came up with my own definition of a notion, talent. But here I have to say that I'm going to divide them into two different contexts. First of all, I define the talent as a combination of professional, personal, and social qualities, competencies, and skills which an individual can contribute and which an organization can use as an asset. Here, please pay attention that this is being defined in socio-psychological context also. But in this case, as soon as we are doing this talent management and the perspective is being done for employment and treating the talent as the unit in the employment process, I define the talent as an individual who possesses the qualities, skills, and competencies required to fulfill necessary job responsibilities. In this case, I stick to human resource management context, or as we said, the talent management context, which is much more relevant for our discussion today.
Okay, I have to give one small idea for you. You don't have to write Suikin and the year. Why? Because without writing any name or surname, this means that this paragraph belongs to your idea. Okay, this is your idea.
All right.
So you don't need. But if I will give a reference from your sentence, from your paragraph, then I have to write Suikin. Okay?
Okay, I understand that. So I will erase that. Okay. Now, as for the talent management, I mean, we have defined the word talent. Now, what the talent management is. So we also come up with several and sometimes controversial definitions. I have just picked up the three ones which are quite concise and quite informative. So John Radford in 2005 research defines talent management as an attempt to ensure everyone in the company at all levels works to the top of their potential. Of course, this is quite concise and it doesn't include a variety of elements, but still it transfers the basic idea. Now, the Chartered Institute for Personal Development in their research in 2006 defines the talent management as identification, development, engagement, retention, and deployment of a talent within a specific organizational context. And finally, David Bluss in 2007 research defines talent management as additional management processes and opportunities made available to people in organizations who are considered as talent. In this case, I mean, I like everything except the word additional, because later on I will speak about this activity and the transferring focus from this activity from human resource management to the top management level. If you have any questions up to now, you're welcome to ask me.
No, I mean, is that all? I mean, all definitions about talent management?
I have presented just 3 of them. There are many of them, as far as I said. They're controversial, and sometimes they focus.
Maybe it is better to add finding talents in order to have competitive advantage. So these 2 words are also important, I think, in talent management. I mean, up to now, most of the maybe I missed, but according to my idea, all of the definitions belong focusing on internal aspect of organization. But what about external side of the company? So that's why it's better to put something underlining the importance of external environment of the company, or some words with a relation of in terms of competitive advantage, I think.
Yes, anyway. I would agree with you. If you look at the second definition, for example, identification, then engagement, retention, this is somehow connected with attracting talents and putting them in the right position. Yeah, sure, that's right. You're absolutely right. I mean that nowadays it was quite challenging to find the universal one, because I think that talent management as the process, as the notion, includes so many elements, and this is emergent, this is ongoing process. I mean, it doesn't stop at just one core function. The functions are being spread time by time and step by step. The thing is that this is ongoing process. We have to be quite flexible in order to define talent management. I'm absolutely sure that, for example, in the recent future, we are going to include some more elements in that, and talent management itself will transfer into something else. I mean, the notion can be the same, but the components, the elements will be sometimes a little bit different, or the variety of them will be bigger. So that's the idea. Okay. But okay, thank you for your remark. I do understand, and I do agree with that. Now, talent management itself as an occasional activity doesn't make sense for companies, because it has to be put in a system, and systematic approach has to be used in here. So in this case, the talent management system that is going to be employed in those organizations who are striving for achieving this competitive advantage. So the talent management system is defined as an effective tool for creating a symbiotic relationship between a talent and the organization to dramatically accelerate performance improvements. Later on, I will speak about what kind of symbiotic relationship I mean between the talents and the organization, and the variety of those interrelations between the company and at what levels it could be executed. Nowadays, let me speak about the functions. Some of them you have already mentioned in your definition. So the talent management system, if we use this systematic approach, have several functions. One of the core functions are listed here. They are attracting talents, keeping talents, managing talents, and of course identifying talents. For example, not all the workers can be treated as talents, and this is one of the tasks, also one of the elements.
Dear Sergey, I think the order must change. First, identifying talents.
Exactly. The order must change, but here I'm just, you know, listing the components.
This is the list.
I'm not speaking about the order. Yes, it's just like this.
Uh-huh.
Okay. This is the notion that is popular nowadays, and I would like to ask you, could you, maybe you've heard about that, maybe not, who are the hypos? Hypos. This is the abbreviation of the two words with which the talent is being defined. So have you heard about hypos?
No, but
let's imagine that you haven't. Because I'm sure that you have.
If you give the example, I can remember or I can learn.
I will do that. Hypos is the abbreviation of high potential employees. There is a trend that nowadays most corporations identify hypos or high potential employees, and they put them on hypo track with a high pay scale and with more promotional opportunities also. So to define them, of course, we need to use the systematic approach. So talent management system, one of the outcomes of it is to produce those hypos, or maybe the word produce is not the right word, but to identify them, and maybe to identify and to present, let's say, hypos. Because again, I will challenge, I will argue the word management here. Later on, I will speak about that in a more detailed way. So maybe the word management will be transferred to a better word. So let me continue with one more question. Can I ask you if you've heard the notion dual ladder?
Could you please repeat?
Dual ladder.
Tool ladder?
Dual ladder. Yes, dual ladder.
Dual, and the second one?
The second one is ladder.
Dual ladder.
Yes, ladder. The ones that you used to come to climb the next floor, for example. Let me write it down here for you, so that again it has to be done in parentheses, but I'm just going to do it like this. Dual ladder. Yes, that's the one. You're welcome to find it in the chat box.
Let me look. Dual ladder.
Yes, dual.
I'm not sure, so it's better for you to.
All right. Let me explain what dual ladder is. Now, what is a dual ladder? Imagine that we're working in the engineering company. So, and engineering companies, organizations, identify those gifted engineers and they put them on a dual ladder track. So this track can extend those talents upwards through several up to vice presidential levels. And the same approach is being done for gifted scientists, by the way. In simple words, it's like this. Dual ladder means that there is a road that gives a talented engineer, worker, employee develop themselves professionally in a professional way, and also in the administrative context, being promoted to a higher position up to the vice presidential level. That's what dual ladder is. This is how a person can combine, if they're a talent, this is how they combine developing in a professional and administrative way. All right, and the question is, why not doing that with other talents in other contexts, not just the engineering or scientific context? And this is the question without answer nowadays, because every company decides themselves. Sometimes I know that there are companies who prefer to take their talents and to develop them.
I can give one example from hotel industry.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, right, the name of the hotel was Motel 6 in USA, I think.
Okay.
They give opportunity even for staff. They open the road for them, and if they successfully passes from all, let's say, sessions or performance evaluations, they have the chance of being general manager in the chain. So from staff level to general manager level, the floor is open for them within a progress related program. So they just open the way for the ones who has enough talents, desire, and improvement potential. Can it be one example?
It's a great example. I would say that you are taking the United States and American context for that. I would say that that would be the same here for Turkey. Because a couple of years ago, when I contacted one of the hotels here, I just examined the CVs of some top managers of hotels. And surprisingly, I found out that many of them started with very low positions like bellboys and bartender and so on. And then they were promoted to, let's say that the chief waiter, and then the food and beverage manager, then the vice director, and then the top manager of the hotel. So
Yes.
I just explored their CVs, and this is absolutely natural also for Turkey. So,
yes, but it needs a little bit more years. But of course, you are right. I know personally some general managers, period that they were working as animator even. Normally in Turkey, like everyone's idea, in most cases you can have improvement or you can see your potential general managers from front office department, sales and marketing department, maybe finance department, and so on. So we have 2 or 3 famous departments that allows a general manager position. This is a general idea in Turkey. But of course, we have some exceptions from animation, from finance. But for example, up to now, I didn't hear any general manager with a history coming from human resource department, for example. So in most cases, we have general popular departments allowing someone even up to general manager position. But of course, there are some exceptions.
I do agree with you. The only thing is just, I guess that, yes, it takes time because that person, you know, started from a very low position, but then he went through all the departments and the whole ladder. I mean, every step in the company. So they go up in the next level, and then the scope of their functions, responsibilities was bigger. That is why this person had a chance to study, to learn the organization from the inside. And I guess that for the company, this is a really good asset, because nowadays becoming a general manager, that person will know each piece of each area of work that the company is dealing with, and can easily understand, for example, what kind of problems do the staff, the lower personnel will face with.
So they need a rotation program, okay? So as you said, after experiencing at least 2 or 3 departments, when they become as general manager, they can easily more control. They will increase the level of control over the company if they come at the end of the rotation program. And this rotation can be internal and or external rotation. I mean, if it is a chain, then this person will rotate, will have a rotation among 2 or 3 departments, whatever. Then another rotation will be the case within the chain, for example.
Exactly. Yes. For example, my wife, she had an internship experience with one of the biggest oil and gas companies called Petronas in Malaysia. And she said that as far as she was internee, they had this kind of chance, you know. For example, a couple of weeks they worked or they studied in one of the departments, then they were transferred to another department. And when she talked to the manager said that this is generally our practice. Why? Because we put people within 2 years, 2 initial years, we put people in different departments, and we see where the person feels more comfortable, where the person comes up with the ultimate contribution. And then based on this knowledge, we then assign a person to a particular department. And of course, the more experience they have, the better understanding of the company functions will be. And of course, the bigger the experience will be. I think that if that person then will be promoted to vice presidential level or even to presidential level, This is the way of how the person can get to know all the parts of the company, all the functions, and all the departments that which deal with. That's, I think, one of the best ideas. But of course, it takes time and it takes a lot of investment. And some companies prefer, let's say, that fast results. Those of them who do not do not think strategically, are, at least of facing some risks. But I think that this is out of the, let's say, the scope of our discussion here. Anyway, the question is, why not doing that with other talents? As you have mentioned, and I have mentioned also the hospitality industry example and the oil and gas industry. So I guess that this practice could be also promoted. Oh, for example, it can be used also in academic environment. Why not? Okay. As soon as we continue, we say that talent management system is using systematic approach, and this is what has to be done. I'm absolutely sure that talent management itself doesn't have to be an occasional type of work. It has to be put in a system, and it has to be the magnet for the talents, demonstrating that the company cares about their talents and promotes their joy of work needs. Later on, I will speak about what makes an organization attractive for talents and why talents decide to stay in the company. So we have 5 more minutes. Don't worry about that. I keep an eye on the.
Me too, automatically.
All right, no problem. So. Again, as I have already mentioned before, we have several elements of this time management system. Here, I'm going to reorganize that. Okay, let me just start it with attracting talents. All right, so we do understand that attracting talents has to be one of the core ideas, and the company has to think about what we have talked about during our previous lecture. I mean, the company has to build a strong employer brand. If it is a strong employer brand, if the company has got a reputation of a great supply for interesting and well-paid job, then the company has a great chance to be attractive for talents who are going to come and be there. So keeping talents is another function, another element of this system, which means creating and maintaining daily working environments in which talents can productively pursue the joy of work and also get financial benefits from their contributions. Managing talents, also another element that is important here in the structure, which means treating talents like customers, as we have said before, and one of the main trends nowadays, and creating opportunities and freedom for them to stretch for their dreams and for the things that make big difference for the company and for the society. Identifying talents, trying to spot the right one, as you have correctly said, and trying to match that person with the right position in the company is also quite challenging but quite necessary thing. And here we also deal with visible and hidden talent. So to spot that one, to spot the talent, even if the person doesn't demonstrate that, is quite challenging but very necessary type of thing. For example, the company can notice and identify the obvious talents, of course, if they're demonstrating their talents widely, so it can be seen. The company has to also use the performance-based identification tool. I will speak about that later on if I have time. I mean, what are the tools we're using to identify talents? And we also have to use the test-based identification tool, which is another one, especially those ones who can help us to identify the hidden talents, the ones which are not visible at a glance. So, I have just a couple of minutes, so I need to a little bit, speed up my discussion. So, what are the benefits of the time management system? There are many of them, And after the break, I'm going to speak about the benefits and how the company can benefit from this system. But generally, I mean, if we look at the big picture, the talent management system can transform an organization into an also-ran or legged into a world-class leader. Why? Because those people, the identified talents, if they are provided with the appropriate environment, they will start to produce, they will start to come up with the contribution that the company is seeking for. And this is how it can make the company's activity very successful, very effective, and that's how the company can achieve its sustainable advantage. So, speaking about the benefits, okay, benefits, of course, you can turn to winning from losing. And in long-term perspective, the best talent with the fastest vehicle wins. In this case, with a vehicle, I mean the corporation. So the talent will be using the corporation as the vehicle. And the fastest that wins the races means the changing more quickly than the toughest competitors. So flexibility, creativity, the best production, especially when the rivals are somewhere a step behind, this is going to be how you can achieve this competitive advantage. I guess that the time for the first lesson is up, and yes, we can make a break now.
Yes. So first break with 10 minutes duration.
10 minutes. See you in 10 minutes.
See you.